highlights. Coming up on the show, car crazy. Fans flock to the annual Essen Motor Show. Grand Gala. Newcomers take to the stage in a nationwide singing contest here in Germany. And classic creations. Euromaxx shines a light on lamps from the Italian Foscarini company. Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Robin Merrill.
Hello and a very warm welcome. However, we begin in the freezing temperatures of Michail Mucha's studio in Moscow. His company make very special ice sculptures for very special occasions. It's not just table decorations for high society parties, he provides the entire dinner service as well. You know the phrase when you say something that melts in your mouth? Well, in this case, everything does, if you're not careful.
Michail Mucha is in his element. Every day he checks whether his icy realm is still cold enough. -10 degrees Celsius is the ideal temperature for the ice sculptures he's created, along with 12 other artists. 90 tons of specially prepared ice were used to sculpt them. Michail Mucha developed the longevity formula himself, which enables sculptures like an ice mosquito to survive for a year.
I wanted to show people what unique things can be made out of ice. It's true that ice sculptures can be found elsewhere, but they're cruder with fewer details. There's never been any as refined and artistic as ours. When sculptures don't last as long as ours do, then it makes no sense for artists to go to such great lengths.
But not all of Mucha's creations are museum pieces. His frozen fruit, spoons and dishes liven up many a party in Moscow. Guests can really eat and drink out of the sculpted bowls and goblets. These delicate sculptures will survive for a couple of hours at room temperature.
My dishes are strictly for one-time use. They're not meant to last, but rather to bring momentary pleasure. For instance, when a wedding couple drinks champagne out of an ice bridal shoe and lets it smash on the ground, that's just a brief moment. But that's precisely what gives people pleasure.
The fragile artworks are painstakingly chiseled out of blocks of ice. But Mucha doesn't like people looking over his shoulder when he works. He's afraid people will copy his exclusive designs or discover his secret ice formula. Mucha is simply passionate about ice.
It's active and changes over time. For example, the sculptures in the museum develop other facial expressions over time and get a new form. Statues made of marble and granite are static and always remain the same, but ice is alive.
At the Winter Ball held in Moscow's Kempinski Hotel, Mucha's ice sculptures are real attention getters. He uses a blowtorch to put the final touches on his creations. He says he could have done so much more if they'd let him.
We could have made everything here out of ice, not just the sculptures and bottle holders. The glasses and the whole bar could have been sculpted out of ice. That would have been even more impressive and spectacular.
But for now, Moscow's demanding high society is content to have its champagne on and in ice. After all, Mucha's creations for the Winter Ball are stunning.
Ice radiates a magnetism which attracts people, draws them in, and makes them want to touch it with their own hands. Ice is much more than just frozen water. It exudes a kind of magic, a strong energy which fascinates everyone.
And you don't have to belong to Moscow's high society to experience this magic. Instead of ball gowns, visitors to the Ice Sculpture Museum wear specially made coats. Being wrapped up as warmly as this, is enough to make anyone feel like an ice queen.
Each car show is forever trying to outdo the next, being bigger, better, shinier, etc. But the Essen car show really is the one for those interested in car accessories. All last week in the western German city, it was all about fine-tuning and customising your beloved vroom vroom. Some 500 exhibitors from 19 nations were there, all with plenty of chrome and horsepower.
Among the exhibitors is Brabus, perhaps the largest independent customised automobile company in the world. For more than 30 years, the German firm has been customising everything on four wheels, above all, luxury sedans. But now it even soups up compacts, like the Smart.
Perhaps you have to have a little gasoline in your blood, and the necessary cash. Our customers include people who are enthusiastic about cars, have fun driving them, and are proud of it.
The biggest attraction at Brabus is the Tesla Roadster, an electric sports car made in the US that costs over €100,000. The high-performance car reaches a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour, and it does so almost without a sound. Brabus has equipped it with a synthesizer.
You can notice this typical V8 rumbling that changes with the engine speed. There's a second version, the space sound.
However, these automobiles really do make some noise. The timeless beauties in the exhibition area, vintage and classic cars. And new at the Essen Motor Show is a racetrack. At the drift car driving, the object is to go around the curves as elegantly as possible.
Of course, precise, clean driving to clock fast laps is one thing. The other is fun. It's the show and absolute control of the vehicle. And I love it.
But some collector cars aren't suited for the rough stuff. They have their own exhibition area called Dream Car Boulevard. Visitors can compare super sports cars from the past and today. Brabus got off to an excellent start at the show. The company sold 12 Tesla Roadsters just on the first day.
You won't find such a multitude of vehicles anywhere else. Here you have every new model in a huge range of versions, and you can get your hands on them. That's what makes the show here in Essen so interesting.
Once the visitors have left, the day is far from over for the professionals. They make new contacts and meet in a more festive atmosphere, like here at the party of a motorsports publication. The Essen Motor Show offers just about anything a car lover could desire.
Europe's most prestigious competition for young classical singers took place here in Berlin this week. The German national competition for singing has been taking place since 1966. This year, from a field of 228 hopefuls, only 11 made the finals.
Annika-Sophie Rydlewski sings an aria by Manon from Jules Massenet's opera of the same name for the Berlin final.
I went to YouTube to watch Anna Netrebko or some other singer that I like or admire, someone who is really good, and there I found this aria. And she sings this aria so unbelievably well. And I thought, what an aria, fantastic. And I listened to the aria with other singers, and I realized it wasn't just Anna Netrebko, but the aria itself. It's so special and so beautifully composed, and so clear and yet so mysterious. And I said, I have to learn this aria.
last rehearsal was in the morning, the final concert in the evening, but with a new twist. For the first time in the history of the competition, this final concert will determine the winner, instead of it just being a relaxed gala. So the suspense lasts right to the end.
In this competition, I realised this is the right time for me. It's something very individual. At the age of 14, 15 or 16, Maria Callas sang arias that most people today sing at 35. People have very different bodies and mentalities. It's something very specific to each individual. But I think that for us, in terms of our careers, this is the right time.
Singers from the ages of 23 to 30 are eligible to take part in the national contest. Most are still studying or have just completed their training. All of them face the difficult task of launching their careers. Those who make it to the final have at least attracted the attention of the musical world. In a moment, the winner will be announced. It's Denise Schönefeld of Berlin, 26 years old. She wins with an aria from The Bartered Bride by Smetana.
My next project is a baby. I'm having my baby in May and then I'll see what comes next. I'll definitely continue singing, that's clear.
Third prize, with a purse of 6,000 euros, goes to Anneke Sophie Rydlewski.
So, Anneke Sophie takes third prize, and the step that is so important for singers, to be the center of public attention.
The Italian firm of Foscarini is celebrating 25 years of producing top-of-the-range designer lights. From the very beginning, the company has sought to mix the best of modern design with beautiful lighting. Starting with just Murano glass, the company has now expanded their use of materials to include anything that enhances artificial lighting.
Carlo Urbanati and Alessandro Vecchiato have been the head designers at Foscarini for 25 years. None of their lamps are alike, but all follow one credo.
They're meant to evoke emotions and, most importantly, to be different from the thousands of other lamps in existence.
They sport offbeat names like Supernova, Blob, Kibosh, Big Bang, and O-Space.
Emotions are irrational. You shouldn't have to think about them too much. If you see too many details and have to think about an object in order to understand it, emotions get lost, even if the design is gorgeous. It has to be simple. Lots of internal luminosity, like this one here, shedding light on a clearly defined area.
Foscarini began making hand-blown individual pieces on the glass-making island of Murano in 1981. Later, Urbanati and Vecchiato took the plunge and began mass production. At first with Murano glass, like the iconic Lumiere lamp, then with industrially made glass.
With the Orbital, by Ferruccio Laviani, a new phase began for us. It would have been more valuable if it had been made of Murano glass, but the colors and light would have been less consistent, and the panes of glass would have been thicker and heavier.
In 1988, the head designers bought their company and moved Foscarini onto the mainland. Their designs now come from all over the world.
We don't constantly look for big-name designers for our lamps. For us, the product is the focus. It's more important than a name. Our collections are extremely diverse because we work with both famous and completely unknown designers.
They say they want to light up the rooms of people's lives. And it's an internationally successful concept. There's even a Foscarini lamp in New York's Museum of Modern Art, designed by American artist Joseph Farakis.
Here, the simplicity of the idea appealed to us, and we wanted it to have a simple name. It's called Havana because it resembles a cigar. Very catchy and easy to remember.
The Mite floor lamp by Mark Sadler, made from a high-tech glass fiber with added carbon thread.
It took us 2 years to develop this piece. The material is very light.
Spanish designer Patricia Urquiola created a lamp that looks like a bracelet, Caboche. Foscarini now has 10 million transparent spheres produced every year just to fill orders for this bestseller. And they continue to experiment. This one, Twiggy, bends according to the weight of its lampshade.
This works like a fishing rod. The stem consists of 2 flexible carbon segments.
But Alessandro Vecchiato and Carlo Urbanati still love Murano glass as well as sophisticated high-tech fibers. They see every new project as pure magic, just like light itself, their first and most beautiful material.
Fooding Week is an annual French event which aims to show the general public their new trends in haute cuisine. It's organised by the French restaurant guide amusingly called Le Fooding and takes place in Paris. There are lots of different events and it's a great opportunity to learn about and taste gourmet food. Also for top chefs to get out of their kitchens and, well, in this first case, spend some time spreading the culinary gospel.
It costs just €10 a day to meet the head chef at the Ritz in Paris and to taste some of his creations. Michail Mucha isn't receiving his guests in the luxury hotel itself. Instead, he's at a unique location in a church. Just one of the highlights of this year's Gourmet Fooding Week.
With our Semaine de Fooding, we want to give people the chance to have extraordinary gastronomic experiences. Good restaurants, after all, are often booked out months in advance. This way we can, to a degree, democratize fine cuisine by bringing the chefs out onto the street, so to speak.
Michail Mucha has been at the Ritz for 17 years and has cooked for many celebrities, from Lady Di to Madonna. But before the public gets a taste of what he can do, he gives a talk on the way traditional dishes are developed and brought up to date. Take salmon, for example. The Ritz used to serve it as a casserole with champagne sauce and mushrooms. Now it comes steamed with mussel juice, caramelized lemon and leek foam.
I like getting out of the kitchen for a change and meeting the public here. It warms my heart to see how interested everyone is and how eager they are to try our food. It's nice to make people happy and to help them benefit from our restaurant.
After the theory lesson comes putting it into practice. Everyone can choose an appetizer and a main dish from the Ritz's menu. The eating is done outdoors. Ambience is not the priority at this culinary event. Taste is.
It's wonderful to eat things you otherwise never get, and at a modest price. But you need to be passionate about great food, because it's really cold out here.
It's definitely warmer inside the 2-star restaurant La Sierre, near the Champs-Élysées, which has served movie stars like Romy Schneider and Audrey Hepburn. But now 2 guests are enjoying the privilege of having their dinner in the kitchen with a direct view of the head chef and his staff. 7 famous restaurants are offering such adventures during the Semaine de Fooding. But they only have room for 1 table each.
This is the first time anyone has eaten in our kitchen and watched us at work. But I like it. This way we can talk to them and answer questions. People are very curious and want to know how a kitchen like this operates.
On the menu this evening at Les Serres are chestnuts with truffle sauce and Italian beans, then scallops with leeks and oyster sauce. While the couple dines, the cooks keep on working. Hard.
Don't forget, if you want to see anything from this programme again, you'll find it on YouTube under Euromaxx English. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.